a lot of people think that all I do is go out and, I see something new and I slap a name on it. And that's not the truth at all. And the truth is really captured in these passages where to know something new, you really have to know where something old ends. Or to know the sea, where are the boundaries of that sea? What about all the little bays and inlets and things like that? And it's actually quite a challenge to make those distinctions. And it's a challenge also to know something and then not know something. So how do you know, say, the Gulf of Mexico, if you don't know that day of Biloxi? That day of Biloxi part of the Gulf of Mexico or not part of the Gulf of Mexico? And of course, as a biologist, this is always a challenge because we don't have full knowledge of anything, and we have to kind of step out of the limb and say, with this little sample of things that I have, I think that this is something different than something else. And we put a name on it, call it a new species. I thought I would use another example as well. My son is here somewhere, 3-year-old, hanging around in the back, and naming things is actually quite a challenge for kids. If any of you have kids, I've never even thought about it really, but you've got cars and trucks, and then there are these things. And I have the hardest time teaching my son what to call these things. You might want to call this a Jeep. Well, this isn't a Jeep really, it's a Land Rover. But when you call it a minivan, well, it's not a minivan like in the Dodge, it's a minivan. And so, poor me, I'm totally confused, which I think spills over into his confusion. And I feel sorry for him that he has a dad who does that kind of thing. And, this bothers me. Where does Jeep begin and end? Or do we have to know every particular out there? In other words, do I need to say that this is a green Land Rover of whatever particular sort this is? I don't know. But you can see there's kind of you can go down a really long road there, right? Something that maybe someone else on the panel is more qualified to address. This reminded me, in fact, reading a lot of this book reminded me of Asian philosophy and religion. So if we think of the Tao, for example, in the Tao, we learn that whatever it is, the eternal is nameless, and the named things are particular. And maybe there's kind of a theme here that there's a point where we can keep naming things that don't lead us to the particulars, and the bigger picture is so big, it includes every inlet, bay, whatever, that becomes, in effect, nameless, because to know one thing really kind